Hi, I'm Rich with New Life Scientific, and today I'm actually going to do a demonstration on how to replace the high plunger seal on a Microfluidics M700 unit. And you can see this beautiful machine behind me, and we're just going to do a step-by-step, and I'll kind of go over our tools here, but just real quick, you know, we've already kind of set this machine up and went through some of the first things that need to be done, but before you shut the machine down, what you really need to do is the cylinder that you're going to replace the seal on, which we're going to be demonstrating this front one here. You need to have it all the way pushed back here. So you're going to turn the machine on, and you're going to lower the pressure settings all the way down, whether you have a touch screen or whether you have the control knob. You're going to lower the pressure settings all the way to the lowest setting, and then you're going to utilize the on and off switch, and you're going to, when this is retracted all the way back, you're going to want to just shut that off so it's all the way back. And so we've already done that, and we've already got us access to the front here so we can get started. But before we get started, we're just going to come over to our tools here so you can get those. We have a torque wrench over here with a 15/16 socket, which we'll need. And then we have a couple Allen wrenches here. We have a 3/32 and a 1/8 inch one. And I just have a standard 1/2 inch socket drive there. And then an adjustable wrench that will open up to about 1.5 inches. So if you need that, and then I have a 3/8 inch solid steel rod that will show you what we need that for. And then also we have some Never Seas high food grade PTFE grease that we can make sure the threads stay greased. But I just want to go over some of the tools that Microfluidics offers. So they do have a removal tool here that they offer, and they have a insertion tool that they also offer. And they're both very heavy duty made. Pretty expensive when you buy these, but a lot of times when you buy your machine, they will give you these. So one thing that in our experience is you really don't need this one here. It's really only if that seal is stuck really bad. So we've actually 3D printed a tool that works a lot easier and quicker. So we've just created a little barb on the end of a hook we can just pop in and then pull the seal out, and we'll show you that. And we also 3D printed the insertion tool, so it doesn't need to be so heavy duty. It's pretty simple to install. And we do have some new seals here ready to go. However, because we've already put new seals in this one, I believe, we probably won't install these then. So we'll look at them, and maybe I'll put them in. But anyways, that's about everything you need, and I've got gloves here, so I probably won't even wear the gloves. I know the machine's been thoroughly cleaned already and flushed, so we like to do that before we sell them anyways. So anyways, the first thing we're going to do is we have to have access to these screws, set screws, and then this set screw back here. So it's nice to have it turned toward you. So I have that 3/8 rod over there, and I utilize that by putting it in this hole here, and I can actually turn this whole assembly and get access to these here. So I need to get these screws out first, and then we're going to take this screw out next, and we're going to get this coupling removed so that we can then remove the plunger. So let's get to it. I'm going to grab my 3/32. We're just going to come in here, get these removed. Spin those out, and you have to completely remove these. Okay, got it removed. I'm just going to set them aside. And the other thing too is I had this tape here. I like to tape this activator arm up out of my way because when it's down here, it's actually got a little bit sharp edges. You can scratch your hand on it when you're working around it, so getting it up out of the way, and it just takes a little bit of tape. That just put it up here. It doesn't take much just to hold it up and tape it down here like that, get it out of my way. So we've got this anti-roll screws out, and now all we have to do is just turn this and pull it back, and that uncouples it from the coupler, and we're just going to push it all the way in. Now if you're having resistance of pushing that in, you'll need to open up your priming valve here, and that'll allow the fluids to push out for you to disengage that all the way out of your way there. So now we have access to remove the coupler here. So now we're going to remove this screw so that we can actually unscrew the coupler from the hydraulic cylinder. So I'm going to grab my other Allen wrench and get back in here and remove that one. And this one is really tight to get to, but we need the clearance to remove that plunger, so having it all the way back definitely makes a difference. It just takes a little patience to get that one out because you're kind of tight against the wall there. Okay, we got that one removed too, and we're setting that to the side. And so now we can take my 3/8" bar here, and we're going to put it in there, and we're just going to pop it. Now this one popped loose. You can see it's loose. If it didn't want to pop loose and it wanted to actually turn the hydraulic cylinder, that's when we're going to need our adjustable wrench right here, because we would need to put the wrench right on these flat spots back on the hydraulic cylinder to keep it from turning when we pop that loose there. So we didn't need it, but it is sometimes needed. So now all you can do, just simply screw this connector collar out. It just threads right into the hydraulic cylinder there. And you'll see it does have the grease on there, and that's why we like to have some grease handy. But this one is still nicely greased, so everything looks good on it. So we'll leave that go. Set that over here. And now you see we've opened up a big area to actually remove the plunger. This is a stainless steel plunger. So just pull it all the way out there. I'm going to pull that out, that end. Just be really careful, don't scratch it. You don't want any nicks or any scratches. And you can then inspect the plunger for any gouges, anything. Everything looks good on this one. Okay, now we need to remove the faceplate here. It has 4 bolts. And you do need some leverage to loosen them up, so I'm just going to use my torque wrench and go ahead and break these loose because they are torqued at 110 foot-pounds. So just getting them loosened up with all the nice leverage I got here. I'm just going to work in a star pattern. And once I get them kind of broke loose, I like to just switch over to my smaller one here. See, I got a little more speed to get them to the point where I can remove them by hand. All right. Just gonna spin these all out. I'm gonna remove the bottom 3, leave the top one to last so I can hold this, because that's a chunk of metal there. Don't want it falling, damage anything. I'm just gonna get this one mainly out here. Oop, yep, that's why you want to leave the top one in. Get that one out. And hold it with my right hand. And you can see in here we have the quench fluid seal right there. That seal is one that is easy to change. Just use a brass pick and you can just pick this out and pull it out, which I'm not going to because the seal is perfectly fine. And the next one, they're very flexible, so you can just stick it back in. And just keep in mind that the U channel or C channel is facing up so that it goes in like that. So just keep that in mind. But very easy one to change air with a brass pick. We'll just leave that one. And then go back over here, and then we have the bearing. And because this is a stainless steel plunger, you'll have a bronze bearing. These usually don't need change that often, but if they do wear out, it can be replaced very easily. And then we're going to reach in there, and there's another bronze ring that sits in behind the high pressure seal. We're just going to set that there, and you can see that would be that piece. And now this is what we're going to remove next. And this is what makes it so much easier utilizing this tool, because it's very simple. We do have a little rod here to make sure it doesn't go all the way in when we pop it in, but you're just going to pop it in like that, and you can see that just bumps up there, and then you can just grab it and pop it right out. Much easier. And you can just pull the pin out and take it out, and then we would grab the new ones, and then we're going to grab the insertion tool. So like I said, these are perfectly fine, so we're going to actually go ahead and just reinstall the ones we took out. So you take the brass or bronze fitting ring, put that there, and this is what's really important here, is we need to make sure that this is put on right. And we're going to explain why that has to be put on this way. But when you load these up, this U channel here, C channel always needs to be up on the insertion tool. And I'm just going to quickly explain real quick how this actually works. So here you have your plunger, and you have your plunger seal, and your plunger comes in behind it here like that. And you have your high pressure liquid end down here. So as your plunger is pushing, it's pressurizing the liquid end, and it's causing a lot of fluid. And there's this little gap that flows in around the outside and allows that fluid to come back here to the seal. And that is actually needed to pressurize the outer edge and the inner edge of that seal, so that U is cut in there to allow fluids to go back in and actually expand and compress those flanged edges. And that's what actually creates the high pressure seal. So that's very important that that is installed the correct way. So that's how we get the seal. So you can see that seal assembly there, and you just hold it, and you just get it started and quickly slide it back there like that. And then you're just gonna pop it in all the way back till that stops right there, and it's installed. So then we're gonna take the bronze bearing, put it in just like that. We do have this O-ring here that you can replace if needed. You can take it off, inspect it, but usually they last a long time. We're going to go ahead and put the plate back on before we install the plunger. And it's versatile, so this is can be turned pretty much any way. So there really isn't any need to worry about marking it. So we're just going to put that back up, make sure that the O-ring is in place there. Get that hooked on that ledge right there. I'm grabbing the bolt, I'm going to put it in here. Just turn it until I feel that thread click. And install the bolts again. And again, we do have some grease on these so that they thread nice and don't get any corrosion in there. Just hand tighten these up. And I'm just kind of reversing everything. Gonna just snug them up with my, and we want to work in a star pattern, so you're going to go crossways. Okay, I got them snugged up with this. I'm going to switch over to the torque wrench. Put that on there. And we're going to set this to 110 foot-pounds. About right there, looks like. Go with that. And again, we're going to work on a star pattern here. Get it snug up. I'm not going to quite go all the way. Okay, now we're going to finish it with the final torquing. Now you can hear that. There. All right, 110 foot-pounds. Now we are ready to install the plunger. Again, you have an O-ring there that you can inspect, but usually the O-rings last without any problem. Like I said before, be really careful bringing this in, and you're just gonna get it in there, straighten it up, just kind of spin it, push it in, and you can even add a little bit of lubricant. Push it all the way back. Again, give you plenty of room to get the coupler back in. And again, we've got plenty of grease on there yet, keeping it lubricated up. You don't want any corrosion or anything, because you want to be able to spin these on by hand, so you can, do these seal change outs really quick. And I'm going to grab my 3/8 rod, and I just stick this in here and just do a little bit of a tap with that so that it's snugged up there. And now we can put our set screw back in for coupler. And this is, like I said, this is probably the hardest part of it, just getting this started by hand back here. If you can get your fingers in there and get it started, and then get it snugged up. Okay, snug that up there. Okay, now we can slide this out. You can see where our pins need to go. Slide that in there, and then we just turn it up. Put these pins back in. The other one. And this pretty much finishes the install. Pretty easy. And if you have 2 cylinders like this one, you would go then to the back one and change that one, but I got them snugged up and everything is done. So that's basically how you replace the plunger seals on an M700. And if you have the 2 cylinders, you have to do it again. But like I said, when we looked at the removal tool, and you know, it's a little bit complicated using it. This is built more like a bearing removal tool, so that's why we decided to go ahead and 3D print ours. And we had the same thing for the seal removals on the M110EHs, so we 3D print those too. But I think that concludes our how-to video. Again, I'm Rich with New Life Scientific, and if you have any questions on the M700s or maybe the M110EHs, we do usually carry them in here at our warehouse, and we're here to help you. Thank you for watching.